and it is side by side for the lead already. They're rubbing body panels. In fact, they're 3 wide. Grady to the outside of the front road sitters, and off in the background go 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. Amazingly, I think they should all be able to carry on exactly how lenient they are with the, off into the barriers. That's coming out of Cascades, and that is the number 16 car, which is off in a big way, and this, I'm afraid, might bring about an even earlier damage, and the car in the way needs the red flag. This is what happened. He's already off the road, and bang, into the barrier, big hit. Destroys the front of the car, does probably quite a bit of damage to the barrier. Even the rear got a whack.
Followed by Conor Grady, the Surrey-based driver, but it's the Scot, as if you couldn't guess from the side of the car, who leads, and problems at the back as off goes the number 10 car, TCR. Great to see TCR still running, and a couple of cars off and onto the dirt, which goes Kean Donaldson in the 97. So the race lead now with Will Jenkins. Are we going to see, as we did down at Alton Park, and Will Alton, is something broken on the car there? It went very squirrely and across the grass. Now you need to rejoin safely. Blue, orange and black car at the back. Another, as we said, another BRSCC Mazda Super Cup, and Haig loses it. Aidan Hills just manages to avoid him, and that's in the gravel. Potential safety car. He's not too far away. He's been caught by Sam Smith looking for his first Ginetta win. And here's a replay. We were talking about Aidan Hills, and the 21 car gets into a spin. Will Orton goes into him, and they collect Aidan Hills, who's having a miserable first weekend in Ginetta this year. He did race in Ginetta a couple of times last year.
And it's Hotchkiss under pressure here from Harley Horton. Harley knows he's got the pace from qualifying. He's got the wrong line there, and around goes not. What happened there? Was that a car in the back? Because there was a car eclipsed, wasn't there, as they came down?
That looked like a car in the back, I'll be honest. Was it Will Orton? Oh, Sam Smith, isn't it?
Yeah, it could have been Will Orton.
Just in front of that orange car, there was definitely a hit. Yeah, there's a touch there. It didn't take much. So he knocked the 95 car around. That's a shame that. He wouldn't have meant to have done that, especially at high speed. Car and is in the middle of the track. I think he just spins in sympathy. So watch the orange car as well. So the contact's been made. Yeah, he's on the brakes hard and down the gears, locks the rear axle to try to get out of the way, and he just spins on his own in the orange car. So.
And he will now take away a place from Lee Frost, so that's 7th place for Frost, and who then spins right in the middle of the pack. Let's hope they all avoid him. But the inside of Lee Frost, now he appears to make the move cleanly, yes he does, but then Lee, I think in trying to retaliate, yes, gets too tight, takes too much of the curb, and around he goes. And actually, look at that right rear tyre on Lee Frost's car, as there was a spin, having a spin at Brooklands, and this is how he got there. He's on the inside line, and well, he and the number 50 car of Robin Grimwood, both trying to give each other room, actually, I reckon. And I think what happened there to GT Academy Racing, a spin here going down into Brooklands corner for 2 cars, sent them off to the wayside. Robin Grimwood was one, and the other one was Mark Elman. Sebastian Du, we did get everyone apart from Zanon through at the end of the opening lap. There's the squeeze. How on earth did they save that? The Doble, 5th and 7th respectively for now. Jenkins in yesterday's race was 3rd, so he was on the podium. Oh, that's Sam Smith. Sam Smith off the road at Chapel Corner. Comes across the line now, some way down the order. Oh, and he did it all on his own. Chris will be furious with himself for that. Did well to avoid getting stuck in the gravel, actually. Just pulled the car up in time. Black and white warning flag for Kean Donaldson, we assume for track limits. Nat Hodgkiss round the outside of a sideways Will Orton. Oh, and then he gets into the back of Harley Horton and spins. Nat Hodgkiss almost had it made. Horton goes off as well. In class might be all he can do. Oh, well, Chris White had just gone through, actually. And Bal Sidhu, well, it's hard to see exactly where the contact happened. It might have been spin earlier on. Now, this one might not have been self-induced. Oh, it's not Bal Sidhu again. It is Bal Sidhu again. That's at least the 3rd time those two have tangled this season. And Chris White beached in the gravel trap. And this will be why. Oh, just at the top of shot. Look, Ed Akers a little bit too excitable on the loud pedal coming through McLean's. Loops it around. I think he's on the outside. Yes, and makes a dive to the inside. Look, to try and get up the inside of the slow-starting Caravasili. And then bang, he's collected pretty heavily by 1, 2 cars. There's a real bunching effect then as others scatter to avoid him. But that was Nick White trying to go from the extreme outside line on the track right down to the inside, and unfortunately he wasn't clear of the car to his right. So, and then further contact there, the 47 car getting tagged sideways is the car in strife at Goddard's, and 22, let's see how he got there first. Well, just loops it midway through the corner, and someone's in the gravel. I can hear the unmistakable sound of a car going through the kitty litter and back onto the road. Oh! and collected. That was unfortunate. The 42 car, the one that got him, and I think that's 89 and 88, isn't it? That's Elman that's gone around. 6th, Julian Wantling 7th. This is the incident. So actually there are 2 cars off there, and then it's a separate... Oh dear, oh dear. If that's not an unsafe rejoin to the track, I don't know what it might even have stalled the car. This is what happened. It's through the chicane. Oh, he gets it all wrong going in, runs wide, gets on the yellow curbs, which are really severe, and that just unsettles.
Orton in the wide outside the 31 car, but it's Conor Grady that leads from Mikey Dover. We've got a spinner at the back, and that is the M-Class Championship leader, Chris White, who has spun around. Mikey Dover lost places on the first lap as well, so it was almost as if the pair of them didn't want to make that progress, but they did get away. There's the spin for Chris White. Cold tyres again, or a bit of contact?
I didn't quite see. I'm not sure whether he was helped along there a little bit, but there was certainly no contact there, was there? It's just lost the rear end. Yeah. That's not a place you want to lose the rear end there.
No, that is a scary, and a fair amount of damage on it. As the Aidan Hills gets a big Mr. Whippy there, big tank slapper, and around on, just as I said, how nice it was to see him going well. Aidan, I apologise, the curse of Neil. Now the other elite car is in the mix, and that is Will Jenkins. As they come up towards the hill again, and it could be any one of these four for second position, and Grady gets contact. That's going to be into the barrier.
Oh dear.
And that might be an early race finish. I would say it all kicks off here with the 4 of them all wanting the same bit of tarmac.
Oh, he got run
little
in the back
nudge in the back,
yeah.
Is Hodgkiss going to keep his second place if he's on the road?
No, I'm not sure he is, you know. How unfortunate is that?
Yeah, that's a shame. I've mostly feel sorry, of course, for Conor Grady, but you feel a little bit for Nat.
Because creates big gaps. What happens? Does he get a little tag? Oh, yeah, he just got a little tag, didn't he? To be fair, and the rear wing goes as well, doesn't it, from Tom Hartley Jr.'s car? So that was actually Martin Wills, wasn't it? But, yeah, well, that car, whatever it's happened to it, is pirouetted all the way through. I tell you what, it's got no rear wing on it. We know, because that happened before. But I'd be surprised if having no rear wing on an academy car. Look at the leaders now as they come down to the hairpin. First time. Oh, big lock. Oh, he's going to end up down the escape road. Thank goodness that was just a car that went down. Nick White.
It's the 3rd event of the year in terms of the rookies for Thomas Shelley in the Want to Race prepared car. Has a little gyration.
No.
Oh, it's a shame.
That's a real shame. So Kearney just lost it on the way in, didn't he? And then Shelley in the 76.
Brazilian, now what's happened to him?
Oh, he's just gone in a bit hot. Oh, that's a shame, that. It may have energised those tyres just a bit with that amazing start.
Balsidou. So Balsidou leading and looking for his first win. As Sam Smith looks at the inside of Will Jenkins, who could do without a DNF. And Smith takes a gyration. I think Jenkins survived that.
In front. Oh, it was just late, and I think it... Yeah, he bounced off that curb. I've had that before. But to be fair to Will Jenkins, he opened sometimes looks a bit clumsy. So what happens? It's just he's gone for a move and he just can't get out of it. Yeah, Hodgkiss, he couldn't get out of that. Oh, and then he clips the rear of his car because he didn't get on the brakes, but he was just trying to get out the way, Dave Sutton, to be fair. So
championship, and it's buzzing.
It's absolutely stunning, isn't it? So we got a rotator, yeah. Oh, he was lucky there.
To execute a textbook switchback manoeuvre. There was a spin at Surtees corner for Gerson Zarpello. That wasn't the last time the Zentek Motorsport driver would be off the road, while Ignacio Zanon got into the side of Dave Sutton, sending the 14 car into a spin. Zarpello had another off at Surtees into the gravel trap at the same time that Karim Sekat went off at Paddock Hill Bend. That brought about a safety car, and when it came in, there was a one-lap shootout for the victory, at the start of which Ruben Haig was wide through the gravel and dropped out of contention. Keeps Will Orton at bay, and then it's the 44 car behind, which is Harry Mangian. He's had a good start, and off wide goes Dave Sutton, and he collects the Recticel barriers. That will not actually do any damage to the car, but the barrier is in the road, and others doing a really good rankings. Harley Horton has just set the fastest lap of the race. He was 3/10 quicker than the race leader, and behind it's all kicking off. Ruben Haig is off the road. He's into the side of Harry Mangian's car. There was a big squeeze going into Druids. Oh, now Chris went for the move late up the inside, and I think there was contact. Not the best angle to tell from, but I think there was contact. Jenkins' car, but he's positioning his number 30 machine absolutely perfectly. Horn up the inside. That's the surprise attack. I thought that had to come, and there is contact. Jenkins into the gravel trap, and that will have huge championship ramifications. That was absolutely the risk for Horton if he went for the surprise attack of that red and white number 70 car. So I suspect Mackenzie was flirting with disaster. Coming through Paddock Hill Bend, but Martin Wills is the one who loses control. coming out of Graham Hill from 5th position. Martin Wills rotates, he goes onto the grass, there's smoke out of the exhaust pipe, which means he's fired it back up, but he will rejoin right at the back of the field, and there's more screeching of tyres. Someone else now goes around, and drivers heading onto the grass to avoid. We can take another look at what happened to Wills. I was just mentioning that Mackenzie Walker had potentially run wide a couple of corners earlier, but Wills just a little bit too eager on the throttle, I think, coming out of the corner. He didn't hit the curb particularly hard, he didn't run wide onto the grass, just lit up the rear tyres. Keep an eye to the car there, the blue, white and green car. Around he goes in 3rd. And again, much as we saw from Martin Wills, it's so easy to light up the rear tyres on these GT points. Right in front of Marco Anastasi. Contact there, Nick White is around up the bumper. Oh dear, of Leo Caravasili. Into the back of him goes Michael Johnston, the 3 of them badly damaged. And that is a big shame that it had to end that. Right, here's the replay of what happened to Tom Hartley. He's trying to go around the outside, whoops, into Paddock Hill Bend, and gets levered aside. I think that was Rammead, wasn't it? Like Ravi Rammead, who was not leaving him a huge amount of space on the outside. So Tom doing a good job to avoid the barriers. Now here is the 4th place contact between Nick White and Leo Caravasili, and as they delay each other with that, here comes Johnston with nowhere to go, straight into all of them though on their tippy toes, just managing to get through the first few corners without any contact, although one car is off the road, and that is the number 10 car with a spin right up onto the grassy runoff area he goes, and that might just be working. He's up the inside into Surtees corner. This is very easy to end in contact, and predictably it does. Around goes Goff. Oh, Mackenzie Walker clatters into him as he goes around as well. Caravasili does well to avoid contact, but further back Martin Wills is around, and so too Richard Sykes. 2 more cars spinning as they head onto the GP loop. Spectators rush to see what's going on. Wills has backed off. He's been collected by Richard Sykes, and they've both gone around. There they go, spectacularly exiting onto the grass. That all got a bit messy though, going through Druid's corner. Now, Kearney back on the inside at Surtees. He knows that a win here is not enough, and there's contact, and around he goes. Off onto the grass goes Rammead. Gary Wager is through the gravel as well, and he might just get stuck there. He will. So Gary Wager stuck in the gravel, and John Kearney. The yellow car is Harley Horton, who again did not get a great start, and has slipped behind Dave Sutton, who's up into 3rd position. Ruben Haig has some contact with Will Orton. Will Orton off into the gravel trap. There's a spin further back as well. Cars flying off everywhere. That's Gerson's at the front of the field. Jenkins was the leader, whilst Oliver Cotton went through the gravel trap and lost his rear trim and had a spin coming through the Fogarty S's. Lucky all in all to get to the end of the race at all. That spin was not the only one. There was contact further back with Balsidou pointing the wrong way, and briefly with his will disappear from shot, and the next time we see him he will be pointing the wrong way. Wait for it. There he goes. Dave Sutton gets elbowed out wide too. Kean Donaldson stuck in the gravel trap, but perfect start that for Will Jenkins to fend off his title rivals.
There's a sort of white car in the middle of the pack there with a
safety car because of Kean Donaldson's car in the gravel trap at Redgate corner. Oh, and there's contact, and Aspin goes off. Aspin off the road going up towards Coppice corner. Don't know what caused that. It might have been that he'd backed off for the safety car.
Perhaps that is where it was. So to me, that looks like Harley Horton there had started weaving. And
damage to the front bodywork. A spin for Gerson Zapellau is what eventually, final race of the day, going almost into darkness. Oh, and already the champion has been caught out. That is Mark Warren, who was crowned the champion of the Ginetta GT Academy.
Yeah, all pretty tight in the front so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And big slide from Ed Akers into the side of Tom Hartley. We've said it, haven't we? We had to put the curse on them. And Ed Akers goes around. Amazingly, he's the only one to go around. A very different first couple of laps for him had he made that stick. That was the spin for Ed Akers, just didn't have the grip on the inside and sort of washed out collision, which has led to, well, a couple of cars actually in the collision. This was the first one we saw. There, Julian Wantling, and then around went Sebastian Dubois. So where does the 3rd car end up in all of this? They're trying to duck and dive either side of the stricken car. Down at the Melbourne hairpin, there was almost further contact there. Slipping up the inside was Maurizio Sciglio's yellow number 47 car. And there, Julian Wantling pulling off to the side of the road. Well, perhaps not pulling off to the side of the road, got onto the grass. Vasily 3rd then. 4th, Thomas Holland, Tom Hartley Jr. in 5th position, and off goes Mackenzie Walker, and that, I suspect, is exactly what happened to Thomas Shelley earlier on. He snatches the break into 2nd position now, and already, I would say, starting to bridge the gap to the race leader, but here comes Rami back up the inside. He's locked the brakes, and there is now contact between the two of them. Off onto the grass he goes. That delays Caravasili, but actually doesn't cost him 2nd place, and a spin to boot for Ravi. A chance of an overall podium and a rookie class win. Gradually, drivers did seem to be getting to grips with the conditions. Not the case, though, for Gary Wager, who had a spin off into the Coppice gravel trap miraculously.